to yet another session of Flames of the Divine. Heaven, would you like to recount what happened last time?
And
What?
never mind, you're muted. Oh, there you go.
I was going to say, well, it's been a while since I did the storytelling. So, continuing from 2 sessions ago, the party fights off the water bandits, and some of them nearly get checked out to the next life in the process. But in the end, the water is saved, but 2 gobos are dead. Now the train is on its way to Rosa Patianos, but will it be safe for long? Let's find out.
Couldn't have put it better myself. So, we'll pick up in the immediate aftermath of the fight. So, CeeLo and Rudy are doing whatever they're doing in the coach. Talos is still etching his breath next to the corpse of the Labrazoom.
I'm showing her the latest romance novel that I found. If I remember right, it was the one about the guy Sparkles, wasn't it? Or was that a previous romance one?
No, I distinctly remember that from last session, I believe.
It was a goblin and a centaur.
Right, Goblin and a Centaur, that's it. We briefly talked about Twilight, but I didn't put it in a book. But yeah, Rudy hands you the book and goes back to reading.
Sheila starts reading the book.
Alright, you may move on now. We're done, is what I'm saying.
Okay, so now, Talos, as you sort of pick yourself up, you see next to you, like wisps of smoke start coming off. Wisps of what looks like black smoke almost start coming off the headless Labrazoom.
Of course, immediately when he sees that stuff, he immediately thinks it's magic of some kind, so he's keeping in hand on his sword just in case something happens.
It seemed, well, as you put, like, as you, like, this is actually happening to all of the corpses of the fiends who attacked you here. Like, hey, it's all, it's all, like, it's almost as if they're, like, go ahead and roll Arcana. Yeah, go ahead and roll all Arcana.
Alright, just give me a minute. Let's see. Arcana.
I'm trying to figure out how to describe this. Yeah, you don't know. You don't really know anything about demons, but these ones seem to be evaporating.
Talus does, of course, raise an eyebrow at that because that doesn't seem right to him.
Yeah, they just seem to be dissolving away, and when it's done, like, and like they only leave skeletons behind, or well, an exoskeleton in the case of Glabrazoom.
Talos squints his eyes, and with what's left over, he just slowly walks back to the carriage. He thinks that actually, before he does that, he grabs a hold of one of the bones just as kind of a reference piece, looks over it, and moves back into the carriage. Excuse me, Rudy?
Yes?
Those demons, or whatever they were, they just started evaporating into black smoke, and all they left behind was one of the bones. He hands the bone to her. It's like, that just seemed a bit odd to me. Is that how demons usually evaporate, or do they just fester.
Do I know this, Woodward?
You do know this. This is pretty common knowledge to anyone who's studied the arcane. I will ask you to roll an Arcana check anyway, just to see how well you know it. Like, do you just have general knowledge, or if you specifically studied this? 16. That'll do it. It's so basically normally the bone should have evaporated as well. Turn off the aura, so I'll just leave that on. And so, yeah, normally the bones also should have evaporated. Because normally, when you kill a demon or a fiend on the material plane, they don't actually die. They are just returned into their own plane. But the desert of Rosa Potianas is kind of special. Because because of its like the barriers between reality, the barriers between planes in this desert are very, very thin, to the point that while you're standing here, you don't quite have 1 foot in every other planes, but like it's close. And because of that, they leave more of themselves behind, as it were.
So, sorry, okay. So, here is what Rudy says. It's normal for them to disappear, but because we're in the Rosa Pardianos, they tend to leave a bit more behind than usual.
That is peculiar. So this is natural.
Yes.
He just kind of takes one more look at the bone and just kind of sighs, shrugs, and he just chucks it out the window.
Yeah. Like heaven, you know that there are there are a lot of Genasi, Yazimar, tieflings, and so on, and get bored in Rosa Potianas for that same reason.
So, sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second there. Rudy will also explain to Talos one more thing. This place is similar to a gateway. Multiple dimensions, like the demon dimension and the 9 hells, tend to bleed through here.
So the veil is thin around here.
Yes.
Is that something we should be overly concerned about while we're here, or?
I don't know.
Well, if any more demons come around, I guess we should be ready. Now then, if you two will excuse me, I'm going to catch up on a little bit of rest.
Enjoy.
Talos just kind of flops himself down on one of the beds here.
Okay, so anything else they want to do in that aftermath?
Nope.
No.
All right then. So, the train continues on through the night, and the next morning, it comes to a stop at at what appears to be a small oasis. Okay. And the conductor goblin and calls out, "Last stop before Rosapotianas. If anyone needs to stretch their legs or resupply, now's the time."
How long do we got?
Few hours. We need to resupply, and we've got a funeral to hold.
Yeah. I think my end.
You're really quiet there, Sula.
Okay.
Heaven
All I
hops,
said. Go ahead.
Heaven hops out, heads to the bushes quick. You can guess what she's doing.
All right. Well,
What-
I'd like to hear
Once
what
she's
I'd like to hear what Neku was doing.
I was just gonna go to the markets in the area and just resupply. That's all I was gonna say.
All right. Thank you. That's all I
Okay.
wanted to know. You may continue, Heaven.
And I was going to say, after that, Heaven refills her water, then goes back to the train.
Okay.
Again, very short. She's not letting this water out of her sight. She's
Right.
like super guarding it.
Oh, and so the goblins and as well as the conductor pull out the two brave souls also fell in the line of duty and start erecting a sort of a funeral pyre for them. And when it is built, they lay them both down, and then the conductor pulls out a bundle of dynamite. They light the fuse, and then they all just book it.
Is that safe?
What?
Never mind.
Yeah, like they do not seem to comprehend that question.
Like, what is
Probably
this
their
safe?
dream to blow up.
What is this safe you speak of? It sounds dirty. But yeah, throughout all this, Talus is kind of snoring away a little bit. Poor guy doesn't know what's going on.
You are what? You are briefly woken by a loud boom outside.
Talus kind of at that kind of leaps to the start to the point. Well, leaps out of his bed to the point where he actually kind of hits his head on the roof a little bit. Ah!
Don't worry. It was just a funeral.
What funeral has explosives?
Goblin funeral. I guess you've never been to one before.
No, I've spent most of my life in my homeland where we don't have goblins. Well, if we do, it's a very rare supply. And I've been traveling with Rudy for most of that time as well.
Well, you can consider this a new experience then.
Yeah, just a new experience like dysentery. And he just like lays back down on the bed.
So, the so a few hours pass.
Neku wanted to do some shopping.
Yeah.
It's just gathering stuff. It's nothing big.
Yeah.
Like
I assume it's like rations and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What you find is very basic, like clearly meant food that's very clearly meant for survival.
Okay.
Like to give a Final Fantasy 14 example, think Mordsuk. That's the kind of stuff you're looking at right now. Like that's the kind of settlement you're looking at right now.
Okay. I'll just get like three more worth of that.
Yeah. So, and a few hours pass, and the train starts up again, and and you travel for 2 more days. And then go on.
Do we get a rest in that time?
Oh yeah, like this is like several days at this point have passed since the fight.
So long rest?
Yeah, just you get everything back.
Cool.
Right. So, the on the morning of the second day, heaven, you look up and you spot in the distance a shining city. You spot the coastline in the distance, and along it all, a bunch of buildings nestled along that coast. Rossapotianus.
Sweet home.
I couldn't find a map I liked, so I'm gonna try and build it in your heads. It's nestled up, like basically sitting right up against the sea, is a big mountain made out of pink stone, and built into the side of that mountain are a whole bunch of basically a whole bunch of sort of Egyptian style looking buildings.
Buildings.
What was that?
Buildings.
Yeah, trying to find a better word than buildings, but I couldn't. And so, right. So, like it's all just built into the side of the mountain, and like as you get closer and closer, you see that that's the there's clear differences between the buildings. Like the higher up on the mountain they are, the more fancy they are. And well, obviously, like higher up is where the rich people live. You can't really see what's at the peak, but presumably that's where the royal palace is. As lower, they get simpler and less fancy, and the ones at the very bottom of the mountain are sort of worn down.
So it's kind of a mix. So it's a kind of a mix of Egyptian and Pueblo building.
You can say that, yeah.
Ah.
And like the very highest buildings are all painted in shades of black and gold. Whereas the bottoms is mostly pink. unpainted stone, which is pink here.
Evan stares out as the train keeps going. She's a bit overwhelmed that she's finally home after a year of travel, and she hopes that with what they're looking for, they will find the answers to Rosa Patianos' water issue and find Gregor's key. If I remember the second one correctly.
So this is where we're going to find the first covert cleric, right?
Yeah. Well, that and yep. You were told you would find him at the port.
Well, is there anything you want to do, Heaven, or should we head there?
I take it you made your way to the water car? CeeLo?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me.
That was Gregor.
Oh,
I'm just should we? I was saying, is there anything you want to do before we head to the port to look for the cleric?
well,
This being your hometown and all.
well, I would like to check in on two places at least. My home and the dance hall. To see how everyone is doing. And, and actually, there might be a chance that we might find one of my older brothers at the port. But I'd like to say hello to my mother. And if
Sounds good to
they're
me.
there, my brother.
Okay. Well, I need to run for a moment. My dinner just arrived, so hang tight.
Rudy takes a deep breath of the air and turns toward CeeLo and Talus. Well, she turns toward the party, but those two in particular she turns to and she says, "This is the last place I have yet to check. If we find cultists here, there is no place on this land that is cultist free."
It's a pretty tall order, if you ask me.
Well, her safety has been one of the things I promised to keep. So, short of annihilating their entire cult or what have you, if she can't find a safe place here, then well, guess we'll just have to figure it out the old-fashioned way.
Considering they worship a dead god, my initial predictions aren't very positive.
Well,
as in thorough translation, Rudy is saying, since they worship a god already here, there's probably going to be cultists.
Well, hope for the best, expect the worst, right, Rudy?
I always expect the worst. The water problems are probably cultists.
No, they're not. But they could have a hand in it, sure. It wouldn't surprise me too much.
That reminds me, did we hear any word from about that old guy we failed to kill back in Lundruk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He helped CeeLo get out of the city.
The one that was in the crypt?
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
Okay.
But yeah, Talus just kind of sighs, and he seems like he's trying to relax a little more than usual.
I'm surprised you're not boiling in this heat.
It's a bit more humid. Well, it's a little hotter than I was expecting, but not. But well, you know, it's just part of the adventuring, I suppose. I'm not going to be removing my armor anytime soon. At least we'd be caught unawares.
You got any spells
Well-
that could help him, Kevin?
Well, there's prestidigitation, but I mean, I'm sure Rudy can cast Cone of Cold on you and you'll be fine.
Under extreme circumstances, I give her permission to do that, but I am fine currently. As long as I stick between as long as I find shade, I'm sure I'll be fine. No risk of a heat stroke at this point.
So this is your place of worship, Artun?
Quick. Gorax, I did mute you very briefly. You were making crackling sounds and Talus was trying to talk, but you're unmuted now. It was just really hard to hear what Talus was saying, and I figured you didn't have your headphones on yet. Does he still not have his headphones on?
I guess.
Edward?
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
Okay.
Sheila just made a comment. This is Artun's place of worship. That's this. She was trying to talk to Artun.
Wedwood.
You're still really quiet, Neku.
Wedwood Neku is trying to talk to Artun, the god of magic.
Don't worry.
Okay. Can you say it a bit louder? Neku?
I had to change my audio settings. Can you hear me better now?
Okay, yeah, I hear you fine now.
Much better.
Okay. Sheila was just saying. So this is your place of worship? It's very pretty.
It was, but look beneath the surface. You all look around, and something that hasn't leaped out at you until now, there's not a lot of people in the streets. It's and as you pull, as you guys like pull properly into the city, as your train enters properly into the city, armed guards show up to receive the water.
Must be a very safely guarded commodity.
Well, we've been in a drought for 100 years. Fresh water is an absolutely valuable commodity, worth more than its weight in gold. At least until we can somehow find a way to restore the rains.
And that was the reason why you were out and about?
Yavin nodded. Yes, me and many others that the Pharaoh had chosen. each of us looked around various places in Norheim, but as far as I know, we haven't found a solution.
Talos
Some
just kind of. We go ahead.
some even come back disheartened, or not come back at all.
And Talos just sort of folds his arms, and he seems like he's kind of deep in thought over that.
Don't don't get me wrong, we are honored to do this. Our land has been suffering for a long time, but you think we'd find something, anything that would give us a clue as to why this was happening.
I suppose
Even you, even it's even rare to find a oasis filled with water these days.
that makes sense, but are the rest of you finding that it also a tad strange? I had not given it much thought lately since a lot of was on my mind, but I only just now started considering something strange about that scenario.
Oh, well, truth be told, we've been it it has been very suspicious to the point where people are debating whether this is natural or caused by some form of magic.
No, that much I understand. I believe it was a conversation we all had about it at some point earlier in time, but what I find particularly strange is, well, why would the Pharaoh send you? I know you're not the only one he sent, but why would he send you unless he, well, I of course mean no disrespect, Heaven. Your magical prowess is to be commended, but you're a dancer by trade. Would he not send his most trusted soldiers or agents out and about?
If I may, if I recall correctly, didn't your Gregor just like a sort of weird gesture, your friend like sort of promise to help with this issue?
Heaven nods. Yes, as so far I have. So far, one of the things we discussed about is possibly this is connected to Vienna. And
Did
as for
he? Oh, sorry. Go on.
and as for your question, Talos, not everything can be solved by brute force. Some are some of us are diplomats to go and discuss things. Others, like myself, have the aspect of beauty and charm. Basically saying the Pharaoh is putting everything into this. Even, like, for example, if this is caused by a red dragon and the only way to appease him is to deliver him a concubine of the finest quality, well, that's where we bards come in.
Hmm.
But that's just one example, and obviously not one of the most extreme, but it's there. But on a level, we're close to diplomat.
I just found it strange, is all. But
Did
perhaps it goes to show my own thought process of, well, where I come from. So you had some thoughts to share, Gregor?
might be a stretch. I was just thinking it might be connected to Heaven's friend in some way.
Hmm.
I mean, did you tell him about the issue, or did he just know about it?
DM?
Uh, mm, if you're referring to a shock, he has said only that he would help you fix it. He has not said he has and he has and like he has said only that he could figure out how to help you fix it. He has not said he knows what caused it.
Thank you, DM. He said that he would help fix this. So, regarding my dreams with the with the violet flames, I'm honest. I do have my doubts.
like how he supposedly fixed the problems of gods being greedy by nearly wiping out my home.
When it comes to situations like this, Talos, one does not go all in until they see as many of the cards as possible. So far, I only have a couple cards in my hands. And yes, I'm going poker reference.
I suppose my intention is just to remind you, is just to present that it could be that it could be a possibility to consider.
You are
Not that it's
also
definitely the case.
you are also ignoring the fact that Zelo has all the cards. She has a deck.
That she does.
No, she does
She has a
still?
deck.
I thought we.
She has a. Talos just kind of taps him on the shoulder and says she has a deck of tarot cards.
Oh yeah.
You never played poker, have you?
It was a
No,
joke.
not.
Yeah. Anyway.
But regardless, let's not waste any more time on the train. I'm sure they're about to chase us off.
Indeed, and I want to see everyone as quickly as possible before we head to the port.
Right?
Yes, I would like to see the city myself.
Alright, so with that, I'd say everyone gets off the train.
Right. So where are you headed first?
Let's start with Heaven's house.
Okay. So you so you lead them down the mountain and towards not the worst neighborhood, but definitely one of the less prettied up ones.
Be sure to make sure that all your valuables are secure. Pickpockets do tend to congregate around this area.
Well, then keep an eye out, everyone. But I'm sure Rudy will spot them before we have any worries.
Indeed, we should name her Eagle Eyes.
You're about to step in shit.
Who?
Talos just kind of helps bring Heaven to a stop before that happens.
No, Heaven dodged this. She's lived in this city all her life. It's you, Rudy's warning.
And yeah, Talos. Okay, Talos, roll a deck save. Roll a deck save, and you cannot apply your aura to this.
Cannot apply my aura, so just take 2 off this roll.
Yeah.
So 14.
You catch it just in time. Like you move to like pull back at Rudy at Kevin, and then you realize that you were about to step on it.
Look at that! You were the shit stepper all along.
Very funny.
Well, at least
taking a while to get out.
Well, at least it's camel dung. If it were elephant, then there'd be a problem.
I imagine if it was elephant dung, then it would have been a bit more obvious.
Anyway, shall we continue?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, eventually you come to, basically this, uh, you basically arrive at this, what do you call those really narrow houses that get, that are all basically one building lining an entire street?
Uh, duplex?
What?
A duplex?
Let me look that up to see if that is.
I mean,
No, that is not it. Like it's basically one big. Basically, it's one big building, but like it's a whole bunch of uh, basically very narrow homes side by side.
the image I'm getting is Aladdin's house.
I haven't seen Aladdin, so I don't.
How dare you?
Disney
Wait,
movies weren't
point
that big of a
is-
part of my childhood. Okay.
Point is, there's buildings. That's all we need to know. Continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Let's not, yeah.
yeah, but you knock on the door. And and event and eventually a very large, very heavily built man with green brown skin and brown dreadlocks comes up and opens the door. I couldn't find and the old pictures, so I kind of had to recreate them from memory.
That's fine. Heaven smiles widely at the green man. Micah, it's been a long time.
Heaven? What are you doing home?
It's a long story, but Heaven just. How did I explain? Well, we got some business here in Rosa Patianos, and I'm also looking into the water issue. See if there's any clues closer to home.
Well, that's
Plus-
great.
Plus, I miss everyone.
We miss you too. Now, Heaven, and it looks at everyone. I assume these are your friends.
Nods. Yep, these are my travel companions. She gestures to everyone. These are Talos, Gregor, Silo, and Rudy. Everyone, this is my oldest brother, Micah.
It's very nice to meet you all. Come in, come in.
Sheila just bows and then enters and goes to a nearby table and sits.
Yeah, like the decor, like the house is very sparsely decorated. Like it's very plain.
I gotcha. And then she pulls out her deck and just starts doing her fortune reading.
Talos himself just kind of gives a sort of casual wave hello and just he doesn't really sit down. He just kind of keeps standing, almost like he's kind of a sentinel.
Yeah, you have trouble fitting through the door frame, by the way. Like
Figures.
the other thing about this house is that it's just a little bit cramped.
Should we get the butter?
I'm fine. I'm not stuck.
And it would be nice if we could have butter.
That bad, huh?
Hey, this has not been one of the better years.
Are the mines still going strong?
Strong enough, but Heaven, you should know, Mother has fallen ill.
Heaven's eyes wine with shock. Mother? Mother's sick?
Yeah, we can't tell what's wrong with her.
Where is she?
Uh,
Is she here?
Yeah, she's upstairs. She's upstairs. She's been ordered bed rest.
Where's Q? Where's Loom? And out of character, she's talking about Cumulus, her second eldest brother.
And still at work. He got some kind of big deal in the docks lately.
Well, that's good. Would it be alright if I go see Mother?
Go.
Heaven thanks her big brother and looks to the others. Make yourselves at home. And she then looks at Micah. Don't mind their. If they seem strange to you, I can assure you they are good people. Hell, they helped me through a lot of tough situations. She then goes up this. There goes and heads to her mother's room.
So and as you go up, like he says, so you've been helping her hunt water.
We've been helping her do quite a lot.
It's not exactly clear to me what she does.
Well, how she sorry, go ahead.
She's just trying to find her own way, sir. Micah, correct?
Admirable. I'm just a little bit confused as to what that way is.
It's never really a clear path. Everything changes based off knowledge. And knowledge always alters based off your surroundings. So she's trying to find her answer to the water issue outside. Because clearly to her, she doesn't see it in here.
You have said a lot of words without telling me much of anything at all.
I tend to do that, some would say. She just smiles and puts her deck down fully.
Like he doesn't seem offended by it at all. He seems like he finds you funny. That's the best sense you can get from him.
As to what she has found out, we only have clues. We don't have answers yet.
Right.
A
Now,
lot of forces trying to keep us in the dark.
Why?
Yep. Who knows? You said your mother is ill?
Yeah, the doctors can't figure out what's wrong with her.
I can take a quick look at her if you want.
Maybe let my sister maybe let my sister finish talking with her first.
I'll stand by the door then. If people in cloaks start jumping through the windows, call me.
Should I expect people in cloaks to start jumping through the windows?
He just kind of thumbs over to Rudy and is like, ask her.
Looks at Rudy.
Chances are about 15%.
Even if it's a 1% chance, you can't discount it.
I'm gonna go with you, Dallas. I'm gonna set Hope on top of Rudy's head as she says that. And then I'm going to head up.
Okay.
Okay, so Heaven. As you move in, you see your mother lying on the bed. And as you walk in, she looks up. Oh, Heaven, is that you?
Heaven smiles weakly as she reaches for her mother's hand. Yes, Mother.
You've
I'm
grown
home.
so much. I assume. I can't see very well at the moment.
It's been a year, but I'm home.
So I can see.
Micah tells me you're sick.
Well, something's weird.
Can you describe this sickness?
I can barely move without feeling a lot of pain in my joints, and my vision's all blurry.
How blurry? Like, can you see shapes, or is it
I
all like
cannot.
fuzzy
I
color?
can't. It's all fuzzy color, Evan.
Having grimaces, hoping her mother didn't see that. How long have you been sick?
It's been a few months now.
This causes panic to well up in Evan's stomach. A few months, but why didn't you say any? Why did I'm pretty sure that I would have come home sooner if I heard.
I did send a letter. Did you not get it?
No, I haven't gotten any letters.
And, uh, well, mail across the desert can be unreliable.
And with all these water bandits around, I'm pretty sure one or two mailmen had an unfortunate fate.
Water bandits. There was a water riot a few days ago.
Having grimaces. How many this month? What's the number this month? As in, how many water riots this month?
3 so far.
It's like the people are getting desperate. But good news is that me and my friends have managed to procure safe passage for a large bounty of water from out of character. What was the name of the city we left?
Pagos.
Out of Pagos. So that should
Great.
help quell things down.
It's very good. I'm glad to hear that.
Um. Oh. I actually brought my friends here. I was hoping to see everyone before we got back to work.
I'd love to meet them.
Heaven knows, I can go get them if you want. Sh- I'm pretty sure Mike is keeping him in well company. And Loom is still at work, so probably won't be able to see him until dinner.
normally, uh, normally I'd lay out a banquet for your friends, but as it stands now,
Don't worry about it, Mother. You right now your health is important. She then so I'll be right back. I'm going to introduce you to my friends. She hurries sh down and motions everyone to come up. My mother
Well,
wants to meet you.
on your way, you meet Rudy and Talos, who are sorry, not Rudy and Talos, Sealer and Talos, who are already up on their way up.
Well, yeah, she runs into you guys first and lets Gregor and Rudy know.
All right.
Gregor
Right,
also
then,
makes his way up.
Everyone but Rudy makes their way up.
all right. Does Rudy want to come up, or is she fine down there?
Rudy doesn't really see a need to go up. Like, what would she do?
Fair enough.
So as everyone but Rudy comes up, Heaven introduces them to her mother. Everyone, this is my mother, Tempest. Mother, these are my friends. Silo, Talos, and Gregor. Our fifth, Rudy, is downstairs.
it's very nice to meet you all.
Upon seeing Tempest, do I get a general idea that she just doesn't look well at all?
Oh, she. Yeah, like visibly, there doesn't really appear to be anything wrong with her.
Okay.
Or like whatever, like these symptoms, like clearly something's bad, or else she wouldn't be bedridden. But doesn't seem to be any visible symptoms.
Your daughter Heaven told me you were ill. Is there anything we can do to help you? Is there anything wrong with you?
Well, ill is what I seem to be. The doctors, and I've seen some doctors. None of them can really tell what is wrong.
He has blurred vision, like fuzzy colors bad, and when she moves, her joints hurt.
I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna speak to Artuna in my kinda, if that's okay. Just ask her a question. Without actually verbally saying it.
Brain thoughts.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask Artuna if she can reply. It's up to you, Edward. But I'm gonna ask her, what is her fate?
And it's difficult to say. Sometimes it can just go in multiple directions.
That is true, but let's go off the guess that this is her condition, and let's say, where does it go from here?
It may not kill her, but if it gets worse as it is, then well, life could become painful for her.
I see. Well, I appreciate the insight. Cielo doesn't say anything for a bit. She just looks over to Tempest, and then she finally just bows her head. Hey, I'm Cielo. I'm sorry that you couldn't really see us fully. I'm assuming that it's getting hard to see right now. I hope you make a full recovery, though.
I hope so as well. It is very nice to meet you.
Talos is just staying silent for a moment and waiting for Celia to finish up her thing.
She did that at that point.
But yeah, Talos does approach it, and he says, "Allow me to try something at least. If it doesn't work, then I'll come back tomorrow to see if another thing can work." And what Talos does is he places his hands onto a Tempest, and he is going to use 5 lay on hands to try and see if it cures any diseases.
Mm-hmm. And you try? I feel warmth from your hands, but I do not feel any different. I'm sorry.
So So it's not a disease at the very least.
Wait, what?
I said it's not a disease.
Oh no, that was in character.
Well, yes, and Talus reaffirmed and he says, you at least do not have a disease that is causing this.
Huh. Is that would explain why the doctors were so confused.
Are you saying it's some kind of curse?
It potentially could be, or it could just be that she took something that is afflicting her with a condition.
If it's a curse, wouldn't Rudy be able to know or do something about it?
I could try right here and now, if you are willing, Miss Tempest.
Meanwhile, Heaven Brighton calls to the back of her head. Ishak, do you have any inkling on what's ailing my mother? Yeah,
Ooh,
she's that desperate.
Well, I cannot say I have seen not like this before, but it's if you it's well if they try to remove a curse then I have a few guesses. If remove curse doesn't work, then that will narrow things down at the very least.
But yeah, Talus will try a remove curse on her.
And and you're it. Still nothing.
Well, my only other guess is perhaps it's just some sort of condition that you've been afflicted with. Have you eaten anything strange lately? Strange encounters with monsters or
I do not go seeking monsters, young man. But what have I eaten lately? There was something unusual. Uh, eh, this I've had this one for months. I'm afraid I can't remember what I ate months ago.
well, all the same, I'll try one more thing tomorrow, but if that doesn't work, then not much else I can help with.
Hmm. And 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 Ishak, yeah, Ishak is like you can almost Heaven. You can almost feel him stroking his chin, going, very interesting.
Something?
Uh, no, just just thinking out loud. Don't mind me.
Heaven grimace. I guess there's really nothing we can do right now. But see how her condition goes.
And Talus just sort of stands up and he says, "Well, all the best for a quick recovery, madam."
And such polite young friends Heaven has made.
Maybe the civilized world has gotten to me a bit more than I'd like to admit.
I
Maybe it's,
I
or
don't
maybe
I don't know how to process that. I still haven't seen what you look like.
I'm a Leonin, if that gives you any indication of how I look.
It does not, no.
basically he's a lion person, Mother, from the Valley of Life and Death.
That's how interesting. Like, she's like now she's really squinting, see, and like, you can tell like now she really wants to try and make you out.
He's also very fluffy, Mother. In
I
heaven,
wouldn't exactly call myself fluffy.
I know, I'm just teasing.
But regardless, I'd say we merely were coming around just to allow Heaven some peace of mind to see her family.
And we do have business at the port, so we might find Cumulus there, so we'll let you rest, Mother.
She nods and sort of very carefully, very slowly settles back into her resting position.
Having kisses her mother's forehead gently. I'll be back to check on you later. And to make sure Micah and Cumulus don't get into trouble. He then leaves with the group. As much as I'd rather stay here, we should finish up the dance hall, and the dance hall should be next.
I'd say we leave that for last. Best we get our mission first, and then we can settle in there.
Well, I was just going to check in with the madam, but I suppose we can meet with my brother first. And
our informant.
And our informant.
Oh yeah, Talos just kind of peeks his head around, and he says, "Ready to leave, Rudy?"
Sure.
All right, we're heading to the docks.
Heaven looks to Micah. Take care of Mother, Micah. I'll see you at dinner tonight. Did you get that, Wed?
Yeah. So you make your way down to the port, and contrary to the rest of the ground level of the city, the port is actually very well maintained. And possibly because the city would pretty much be fucked without it. So you may and so you make your way down to onto your brother's workplace. It's and yeah, you see him like he's basically trying to haggle with a bunch of trailers, a bunch of traders, like definitely foreign, yet and and you do not recognize their clothes.
I wonder if this is that business Micah mentioned.
Loom has not noticed you.
But looks the others. Do you want to see our informant first, or should I motion that we're here to my brother?
Informant first. Your brother seems like he's very deep into it. I doubt he'll be moving anytime soon.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
Besides, one thing I've always learned is being in these big cities is the last thing you want to do is get in the middle of an argument.
That's true. Well then, where are we meeting? Where exactly in the port are we meeting our informant?
Uh, well, you weren't told his location. You were only told his name, Captain Wash.
Captain Wash?
In WASH. Yes.
Well, I guess we could try asking around if anyone's seen him.
I think maybe there's like there's a I know there's an office for these docks where ship captains can set in paperwork or something. It's been a while. Had the term. Oh yeah, maybe the dock master might know something.
Well, let's speak. Let's go speak to the stockmaster then.
So you find the dockmaster, and when you ask about Captain Wash, he like just puts his hand over his eyes and he's like, "Oh, what did you do this time?"
Nothing bad as far as nothing bad this time. I'm sure. We're looking for his help actually.
Are you sure you want that?
I am 100% certain.
Okay, be warned. He can be a lot, and you'll want Doc 10.
Thank you.
Don't worry. We know how we know how to deal with a lot.
Anyway,
Should make our way to Dock 10 then.
yes. Thank you, sir.
So you make your way to Dock 10, and there's only one ship stationed there. It is, and that ship is a very distinctive one. It's like like this big, even like up close you can see this thing is a work of art. Like it's a a beautifully cut planks. The sails are colored like a deep red, and the figurehead is, it appears to be one of a roaring silver dragon.
What time of day is it?
It is getting into the late afternoon at this point.
Okay. Gregor calls out to Captain Wash.
Like from aboard the ship, if you hear, oh, who's that? Do I owe you money too?
Not as far as I know.
Like, you like a head peers over at the side, and you see for the first time this enormous water genasi man. Don't recognize any of you. Who are you?
We were sent from Pagos.
Pagos. Oh, Derek sent you, didn't he?
That's right.
He also said you owe him a few gold, and we're here to collect that as well.
You'll have to take it from my cold dead hands. And he pulls out his sword and gets it and like points it at you. in like the on guard position.
Heaven holds up her hand. We're not here for a fight, and she casts Charms Person on him.
What?
Okay. Okay. Your DC is 16, I think.
Spell DC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This will only end well.
But of course, young lady. Where are my manners? My name is Captain Watch. He rolled a 3.
So,
What can I do for you?
first off, I was told you were quiet, or something along those lines.
Well, I tried to tell stories, but no one seems interested in them. It's very weird. Anyway, so, what can I do for you?
Gregor?
DM, where's the first key again? Like the closest key, I mean.
It is in the ocean to the south. If you need a ship to get there, presumably that's where this guy comes in.
Well, we're gonna need your ship to look for something in the ocean.
I didn't know Our Lady's artifacts could make their way into the ocean, but very well. Let's go. Adventure! And he starts walking back onto the ship as if he's kind of expecting you to follow him.
Steady on now. We're not leaving just yet.
Oh.
We still have business in town. Perhaps on the morrow?
Very well.
Plus, that
That
should
will
give
give me
you
time
time
to
to-
actually load supplies. And he actually like sort of like stomps down onto the dock and like heads into town.
Heaven smirks to the others. See? I told you bards are skilled in diplomacy.
That isn't the spell you use have it only lasts an hour, and they know that you charmed them afterwards.
Well,
Well.
it was used to defuse the situation.
That I don't agree with that. That's very bad merchants like skills. I'm sorry.
To be fair, I don't see him raising a fuss about it.
Yeah, but if she did, anyone else who actually would take offense to being charmed, I'm sure that would not make a happy customer.
Don't worry, I'm quite responsible with my charms. Besides,
I
how many
just
times have you
don't see
seen
your
me
point.
use? How many times have you seen me use Charm Person?
That doesn't help
How
your
many?
defense. Okay, Evan, I'm
What?
done with you. And Sheila just storms off.
Rudy just
Oh my
says,
goodness.
Rudy speaks up and says, Sela was trying to say that it's immoral.
Everyone's eyes. Well,
I
at
didn't
least I
expect
got us.
Sheila to care about morality.
Well, he was going to shoot us. I had to think quick.
Rudy follows after Sela.
To be entirely fair to Zila haven't it's the man looks like he's probably more bluster than he is actually a threat.
Well, I've seen my share of. It's always the quiet ones.
Regardless, I prefer not to linger on this for too much longer.
Yeah, just make sure you apologize if he ends up getting mad at you.
Very well, I will apologize. Heaven said begrudgingly. Anyway, we got stuff to do. She then goes to check to see if Cumulus is free yet.
And and like he and well, he's not haggling with those traders anymore, but he looks like he got the worst end of the deal. He's not looking happy.
Heaven sees this, smiles gently, walking up and placing a hand on his shoulder. I was just gonna say, sounds like you could use a drink, Loom.
Evan, you didn't say you were back in town.
I only just arrived a couple hours ago.
Yeah,
I came here by
I
train.
need a drink. Bloody scam artist.
I take it the deal didn't go too well.
But and well, no. Well, those guys wouldn't buy anything from me. It's not like we made a deal.
Loom, those are the kinds of words that say you did make a deal.
Oh, I made a deal, just not with those guys.
Oh,
That deal went great.
insight check on Cumulus.
Go ahead. Seems to be telling the truth.
All right, I'll believe you for now. Anyway, I met up with Mother and Micah.
Oh, it's uh, 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 uh yeah, it's not exactly a pretty sight, is it?
Do you have any idea what she ate a few months ago that might have caused what's going on? So far, we haven't determined if it was magically caused by a curse. But can you remember anything strange she ate a few months ago?
Uh, hmm.
Anything new to what? Anything new added to the food or water?
Hmm. Well, a few months ago, you say. That is when it started, isn't it? We did have some, and I remember I got lucky at one point and managed to score some imported meat. But no, that was tested. It shouldn't have had anything weird in it.
Anything else?
Um, I don't know, but well, maybe they didn't mention it, but she's not the only one who's been having this weird sickness.
Who else? Is it located to a specific section of town or?
It's kind of it. There are 4 or 5 people. There are 4 or 5 people having. I mean, there are 4 or 5 people in our part of town. I don't know where else.
This is this is strange. Not exactly an epidemic, but still 5 people with the same ailment.
Yeah, no one can figure out what's wrong.
And so far, no idea if it's magic related or if it's something anyone ate.
Well, certainly my own magic as it currently stands can't help.
Oh, I forgot. Everyone, this is my second eldest brother, Cumulus. He's a merchant here at the port. Cumulus, these are my current traveling companions. Talos, Rudy, Stilo, and Gregor.
Well-
Sila's not with you.
Oh,
Rudy and Silo have, Silo stormed off, remember?
oh yeah. Well,
Hmm.
we have another, but she's off on her own at the moment.
Rudy
Hi.
also followed her.
Back to make it to.
Hi. Don't suppose you guys want to buy anything?
Not particularly looking for anything, no.
Nah.
We were actually here to charter a ship for the southern part of the sea. And
But why do you want to go into that? Why do you want to go into the Southern Sea?
Personal business.
but one
Because
that,
that personal business is taking you into some very dangerous waters.
well, the people who hired us for this particular task eh, gave us the name of a contact here. Though I may have to bring him some. If you have some good wine in stock, I may some good ale in stock. Maybe give that. No, wait, make it rum. You got some good rum and stuff. Huck,
Ru-
I might have to buy a bottle for an apology.
Rum. Oh my God! Tell me you didn't charter Captain Wash.
He's our contact.
Oh no!
Sorry, big brother, but it's part of the job. And I kind of use charm person because I kind of panic. What with still dealing with mother's health, and he was going a bit hectic on us. I kind of
Yeah,
panic.
he does that. Yeah, he first sailed in here. He first arrived here a few weeks ago, I think, and there he's already challenged three. He's already challenged 15 people to duels.
Well, I'm hoping to get some rum as an apology present for charming him, casting charm person on him.
And he pulls it. He looks around and pulls out a bottle of red wine. He prefers this. I know, because he keeps drinking it in public.
All right, how much?
Uh,
You may be my brother, but I'm still willing to do business with you.
yeah. I know. I'm just I know. I'm just like he's like digging around a bit. He's trying to find the price on this. Normally 10 silver. We'll say 7 silver as a save my sister as life if discounts, huh?
I'll give you 7 gold.
He's like stunned silent by this. Whoa, what, are you serious?
I don't need 7 gold.
That's very generous of you, Talus.
Where have you been all my life?
I ship it.
In the Valley of Life and Death, where you likely will never go.
That sounds like a very dangerous place. So you're absolutely right.
So yeah, Talus gives him 7 gold and takes the bottle.
And holy shit, yeah, like you gotta remember, Ember, or like this is not a wealthy merchant we're looking at. He doesn't handle gold all that often.
Put that towards the house, Loom.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean it. Don't go gambling.
Okay, sure.
Remember that one time you spent all the gold that we were going to use for fixing up the house, and Micah came after you with a pick?
Look,
I
he
think you
looks down
still,
and goes,
I think you still got that scar on your left leg.
no, I don't. He hides his left leg.
Here we go.
Maybe you better take the gold, and he just hands it to you, Heaven.
Regardless, we best go and catch up with Rudy and CeeLo by now.
Having odds. I'll give the gold to Mike on the way.
Yeah, do that.
All right, well, they ran off that way, so let's go get them.
As they head off, Heaven turns around and calls out to Loom, "You should hire an accountant, Loom."
Oh yeah, he'll get right on that with all that money he doesn't have.
So, since Can I do a roleplay scene now?
Go ahead.
Absolutely, yes.
So, Rudy's following CeeLo. Where does CeeLo stop?
She's looking for someone actively, but if she doesn't spot him immediately, she'll just stop and look around the area.
Alright.
She's looking for like a royal guard of some sort.
Rudy will reach out and grab her arm and say, "Follow me."
Sheila feels the arm tug and notices that Rudy was actually following her, and she follows.
Rudy will just lead her to somewhere somewhat quiet, like maybe. I'm sure there's some park benches or seats somewhere. So, Rudy will sit down and wait for Scylla to sit down. And then she'll say, in the same monotone that she always speaks in, "I have been thinking about our relationship."
Sheila will pause at that and just look to Rudy. Wait for her to continue.
"I do like you."
I see.
However, there is one complication with this arrangement.
And that would be?
Rudy is silent for a lot longer than she probably would normally be. And then she simply says, "I also like Talos."
Sheila looks over at the streets in front of her.
"He was the first person who approached me, and he has been protecting me all this time. When I think of him, and I think of you, I care for both of you very much. I do not know what to do with this arrangement, but that is what I have determined from my thinking on the subject."
Well, even if you denied it at first when I asked you, I kind of figured that. People do lie a lot, or they're just unsure of their own feelings.
I did not know. In all honesty, I did not think I was capable of such feelings. But after how long has it been? Several weeks now? No, a couple of days, I think. But after the couple of days, I have examined my feelings towards you and towards the others. And while I do appreciate the friendship and allyship that I have with the others, like Heaven and Chaos, what's your character's name again?
Gregor.
Gregor, that's it.
yeah, that guy.
Look, I'm bad with names. Stop bullying me.
Continue.
I think he's bullying me more than anything.
So, I examined the friendship I have with all of you, and if I were to compare the allyship I have with Gregory and Heaven, both you and Telos rank higher. Rudy then looks away briefly and then says, I do not know if it is love. I do not know how to recognize it. But I do know I care for you two on a greater level than I care for those two. That may sound callous, but it is the truth. So what Rudy's basically saying is that if it was a choice between heaven and Talos and the railway if it was a choice between heaven and Talos or heaven and Silo and the railway problem, you know heaven's being run over.
Oh, that's so fucked up, though. But anyway,
I mean, it is.
Bruh.
That's really fucked up.
It
It's
is
just cruel.
It is,
Oh
but
my
that
goodness.
I'm sorry, but that's just how Rudy thinks.
If she was like, oh man, if Silo and Talos were strapped on separate railways and she had to choose one, she'll just let it go at that point. But if it was Heaven or Talos and Silo, man, no, Heaven just instantly dies. I'm like, wow, that was that's really fucked up when you put it that way.
I know, it's a little messed up, but that's just how Rudy thinks. Her mind is
Does Heaven feel-
very.
Does Heaven feel
He's
Does
pragmatic.
Heaven feel a disturbance in the force?
She's very
Just don't step on any trains. You'll find Heaven.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, we were just on a train.
She had her chance.
Yeah, Rudy's just gonna let Heaven and the other guy get run over.
I just love that. It's like Heaven and the other guy. It's the guy's like, hey, I'm here too.
Gregor's been here for almost like 4 months, and people just barely remember anything. At least I can say her name, Gregor. Does that make you feel better? Like, oh yeah, he was here.
just tagging along, you know.
He existed. Oh yeah, it was like when the book is read about our grand adventure. It starts off as like Evan Talos Silo traveling through the world
Neku,
with
you
Rudy
need
as the
to
author,
breathe.
and then Rudy says, "Oh yeah, we also had that one guy."
You're gonna pass out from lack of air at this point, man. You need to
That's
calm down.
hilarious.
Look, I want to mention this just because, well, it's all fun and games. I do remember your character, Chaos. It's just I remember them as the cleric that has the magical animal balls.
I mean, those balls are really cool. I will give you. I will admit it is.
The cleric with a sack of animals.
The fucking Pokemon trainer.
Like, I don't.
Kinda.
If I was to try and remember you by your name, I'd never remember you. But because my brain remembers people's by the things that I associate with them. It's just how my brain works. So, yeah.
I can't wait to read this book that's written by Rudy's perspective of the adventures they had. It just made me laugh so hard.
But yeah.
All right.
So that's basically what Rudy is saying, and I'm not saying, and out of character, it is pretty messed up. I'm not going to deny that, but that's just what Rudy would say.
God.
The main takeaway is that there's a love triangle going on here.
So, how do you respond?
I'm gonna go back to character now. After that crisis.
Yes, please.
Silo looks over to the streets as she studies the crowds, or the lack of, or decent amount, depending on where they're at. She will take a moment to respond. Talus is a nice guy. And I wouldn't blame you for that. I felt the same too for a while with him.
So you like him too?
What? Well, I do step on him every now and then when I get a chance because I find it very endearing.
Rudy thinks
It's
for a
how-
moment and then says, if we both enjoy his company and he enjoys our company, and you see Rudy sort of pause for a moment and go, are there relationships that are threes? I have only heard of the ones that are two. Except for the ones that are threes in the books, but they always turn out bad for some reason. I never really quite understand why they do that. You can actually hear emotion in Rudy's voice. She is very confused. And because it's Rudy, it only sounds like slight confusion, but you can definitely hear confusion.
Taking that tone into account, CeeLo would simply smile a bit, still not looking at Rudy fully, and she just simply says this. The stories of books that are like, some are pure fantasy. I do agree on it. They don't actually have that idea. I mean, I read I read a novel that was just about a full-on tribe or full-on community. I was like that, I suppose. It's just one big family. That's how they view it. Now, whether or not every single person in that community had the same feelings for one another is very unlikely. However, it's that source of unity. Does that make sense, Rudy?
In a way.
We're happier with Talus than we are without.
Rudy nods.
So that is a unity in a way. Whether we see it as a full-on relationship or not, or more or less, titles don't really matter whenever it's to issues of the heart. That's what I believe.
Rudy stands up and she will offer a hand to CeeLo, and she will say, also he shares our like of really terrible romance novels.
That is true. I've seen him read that stupid Leonin book.
Let us go then.
I gotta do something first. But if you're willing to follow me, it's fine. Or you're willing to tell the others, that's also fine.
I will follow you. It is dangerous for me to be alone because I could get kidnapped.
No, I also could get murdered. Apparently
Yes.
both have heads on her. Wanted heads, but there's something I want to do in the city first.
Which is why Talos is also a very good choice.
Yeah, it's true. I also like it when he falls after battle, because that means I have another chance to step on him. I don't know why, I just find it easy making fun of him, and he just enjoys it.
I agree. It is
So-
very fun to make fun of Talos.
Celia just smiles at this. And then she looks for a guard.
Rudy will follow. And that's the scene.
Okay. So, I still need to pick up the pieces of my mind after that, so I think that's where we're gonna call it for today.
It was nice playing with you, Heaven, Talos, Rudy, and that guy.
Bruh.
Yeah.
You lost your shit at that, didn't you?
That is just, it's such a common theme. Like, this was the first time this was brought up. I just laughed so hard now.
Well, in to be fair, in character, Gregor wouldn't fucking like that.
You just lost it when like, and the other goes, "Hey, I'm here too."
Just want this. I always wanted it to be like written in stories of the book.
Anyway,
The guy with the
that's
balls.
it. But yeah, you said we're calling it there?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I have a job to do. Thank you all for coming. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See y'all later. Bye.